Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is August the 24th, 2025. Hopefully this episode finds you well, in good spirits and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. We've been having a good Sunday. It's been a fun day. But we are going to start with Saturday night, Saturday evening, if you will. And then we'll just run it into today. So I want to say shout out to Jimbo. Thank you, Jimbo, for coming through. Really appreciate you. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that episode, guys, gals, MBs, everybody. We had a good time making it. And hopefully we do some more of those in the future, of course. I would love to get back into the rhythm of doing some guest episodes with the homies, So hopefully I can line some more of those up before year's end and whatnot. But we'll see. After that, I got about like an hour or so nap in. And then I woke up and I went to Northside, see the homies. It was a really fun time, as is tradition. I went to a bar that I've never been to called Binsky's, and that was pretty cool. Had a nice vibe. Got to see some homies, talk tea, if you will, a little bit, but really just catch up, have a good time, have fun. I got this idea to do as many 0.5 like ratio photos or whatever of my friends and myself. And I had a friend who was taller than me, like, take them all. So it was a really good time. I had really fun just hanging out with the homies there, kind of doing we didn't start there, actually. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. But, of course, we did wind up going to Chameleon and getting some food. I got my usual 3 slices of pizza. They weren't too different. I will say on the veggie, it had some kind of like sauce, kind of like some kind of pesto-y kind of thing, but it was like a red thing. I don't know. It was really good. I mean, like it was like a red pepper. Yeah, I think so. So that was yummy. And then I got an IPA, some kind of different IPA, like high grain something or whatever. But it was good. It was yummy. So we went to Chameleon first, then Binsky's. Then we came back and, hit our usual spots. And overall, good time was had. We closed out the night as we often do at the homie's house. And we had some leftover pasta, which was really good. It was really yummy. And I will say something I do love. As much as I don't like my own leftovers, if I'm eating someone else's leftovers, that's a different story. I like that because that's new to me. You know what I mean? So that was yummy. Then there was some breads. At one point, there was a bagel that I was given. I don't know what happened to me. Maybe it was just the state I was in from having too much of a good time. But like I just lost control of the bagel and fell, and like the cream cheese like went everywhere. I was like, no, and I immediately went to like just scoop it all up. It was really wild. It was really crazy, but I had a really good time. Not just eating the bagels, but just everything. It was good seeing the homies hanging out. A bit of a Labubu update, or should I say Lafufu update. After asking around and things of that nature, I do think my Labubu is a Lafufu. I think it is not real, but it's real enough to me. I did take it out on my fanny, showed him around, and, that'll be a little one and done there. And I think from now on, it'll just be a little book bag charm for my gym bag. So, that is the fate of the Lafufu. And, I'm sticking to it. It's fine. So, and especially given the circumstances of how I acquired it, I am okay with it. So, yeah, that was my Saturday. Now, let's talk about Sunday, part 2, I guess you could say, of my weekend. After, hanging out, I woke up, came home, took another nap, more or less, then got up and went to the store, went to the old Kroger, picked up some groceries. After groceries, we went to the gym. Gym was good. Gym was solid. Felt good to just still be on the heavy set day and not really lose track of anything, not really feel out of step. Everything kind of moved the way I wanted to. So that was good. It felt good. And then more or less that's it. Now we're back home and, we're podcasting. We're yapping it up. So that was my day. That was my Saturday, my Sunday. And I'm happy to be closing it out here with my dear listeners, yapping about some news. So yeah, let's go ahead and do the startup and we'll get into it. Oh, buddy. I will say I did have a bit of a hangover. At like the last spot, it was one of my friends' birthday. Shout out to Klaus, and he wanted to take a shot, so we got a shot. I think of some kind of bourbon. So that was a nice way to kind of close out the night. But I think that is what got me on top of all of the beers and whatnot. But overall, I kind of rallied after a bit of Gatorade and a little bit of water and whatnot, and we were good to go. Oh, and this is a bit of another thing too. I did try some chili mango, like dried chili mango slice. I gotta say, the one I had, it really wasn't that yummy. It was fine. I think I'm gonna eat them all, but just not as fast or as eagerly as I thought I might. So then a little bit of a snack corner there. All right. Ooh. Our first story comes from Al Jazeera. At least 18 killed in Colombia in drone attack on helicopter car bombing. Sorry, helicopter car bombing. That would be crazy if there was a combination, like all one big event. At least 18 people have been killed and dozens injured in two attacks in Colombia attributed to dissident factions of the former Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia, or FARC, rebel group. In Cali, the country's third most populated city, a vehicle packed with explosives detonated on Thursday near Military Aviation School in an incident that left 6 people dead and 71 injured, according to the mayor's office. Hours earlier, a National Police Black Hawk helicopter participating in a coca leaf crop extradition operation was downed by a drone in the municipality of Amalfi in the department of Antioquia, killing 12 police officers. Colombian President Gustavo Petro blamed the attacks on dissident factions of the now defunct FARC group that have rejected a 2016 peace agreement to end a prolonged internal conflict that has left more than 450,000 dead in the country. Petro said on X that the attack on the police helicopter occurred as the aircraft was transporting personnel to an area in Antioquia in the northern Colombia to extradite coca leaf crops, the raw material for cocaine. Antioquia Governor Andres Julian said on social media that a drone attacked the helicopter as it flew over coca leaf crops. Colombian Defense Minister Pedro Sanchez said the preliminary information indicates the attack caused a fire in the police helicopter. Pedro initially blamed the Gulf Clan, the country's largest active drug cartel, for the helicopter attack. He asserted that the aircraft was targeted in retaliation for cocaine seizure that allegedly belonged to the group. In a later post on social media, Petro shared a photo of a suspect in the car bomb attack near the Colombian aerospace force in Cali, saying the person detained by police was a member of the EMC, Estados Mayoral Central, described as a federation of dissidents of the former FARC group and subordinate to drug traffickers. FARC dissidents who have rejected a peace agreement with the government and members of the Gulf Clan operate in the Antioquia area. Let's see. So yeah, the rest is just a little bit of recap there. But I heard about the story. I want to say Friday or Saturday. I believe it took place Thursday, and I was like, wow, that is a big headline. A lot happening, from this crime organization or groups of these crime organizations, and I just wanted to come and cover it. And I figured we start off this episode talking about that, and I'll keep you posted out of any other Colombia related news, of course. But let's go ahead and move on though to the Menendez brothers. I was kind of waiting for this story to drop, and it did by Friday, and then I just didn't really have the time to get to it. So figure we just do it now. But from the USA Today, and this one we're going to just read pretty much the whole thing as well. The Menendez brothers' hopes for freedom via the prison parole process were dashed when communities deemed them unfit to rejoin society, citing years of rule breaking while behind bars. Eric Menendez, 54, and Lyle Menendez, 57, were questioned separately for hours during 2 days of hearings on August 21st and August 22nd about the 1989 shotgun murders of their parents, their behavior while serving over 3 decades in prison, and how they've changed since entering prison. Despite the recent momentum in their bid for freedom, with a May resentencing making them newly eligible for parole consideration, and a groundswell of public support for their release, the brothers were denied parole for the minimum period of 3 years. You have been a model inmate in many ways who has demonstrated the potential for change. But despite all those outward positives we see, you still struggle with antisocial personality traits like deception, minimalization, and rule breaking that lie beneath that positive surface. Parole Commissioner Julie Garland told Lyle Menendez while issuing his denial on August 22nd. Eric Menendez was the first brother to go before the parole board, and in a nearly 10-hour-long hearing described his mindset at the time of the murders while in prison. The California Board of Parole Hearings, Commissioner Robert Barton, delivered the denial and said Eric Menendez's history of rule breaking was extensive and caused concern about how he would behave if released. So I'm having a little bit of difficulties here with the article. Let me scroll up and down here a little bit. Contrary to your supporters' beliefs, you have not been a model prisoner, and frankly, we find that a little disturbing, Barton said, citing reports of inappropriate behavior with visitors, drug smuggling, misuse of state computers, and violent incidents. This page does not want to work. Bear with me. Scrolling down a bit. The parole denials were a blow to a hard-fought legal battle for freedom from prison. The brothers will be eligible again for parole consideration after some time has passed. Meanwhile, there are still 2 other avenues to freedom. The Menendez brothers' attorneys have filed a habeas corpus petition on their behalf, which challenges their incarceration based on a newly revealed evidence that would have changed the outcome of their murders at the time. Would have changed the outcome at their murder trials. That petition has been slowly making its way through the legal process and is opposed by Los Angeles District Attorney Nathan Hochman. Also, the other brother admitted to doing tax fraud, and yeah, I believe it was Lyle Menendez who did this, but I might be wrong here. Sorry, I had to scroll ahead. No, it was Eric Menendez who did this. I got that mixed up. But Eric Menendez did tax fraud with, I guess, like a prison group, and he said he did this because he was really scared. It was very violent in the yard, and he felt like he needed to do something like this, like really align himself with these kind of people to stay alive. But that was looked on as negative, as well as like their cell phone uses, like illegal cell phone uses and stuff like that in prison. So yeah, I mean, these were all reasons that they were, dinged for bad behavior, even though they've done a lot of good stuff, working with other, other prisoners, to help them, get their lives together, get, I think a chance at parole and things like that, all the while they weren't denied, or they didn't have the option of getting parole. So, they kind of all got put on a balance, but essentially the people of the parole board were like, no, we don't think that it's enough, and we think that you should stay in jail. Let's see here. The parole denials were a blow to a hard-fought legal battle for freedom from prison. The brothers will be eligible again for parole consideration after some time has passed. Meanwhile, there are still 2 other avenues to freedom. The Menendez brothers' attorneys have filed a habeas petition on their behalf, which challenges their incarceration. Oh, did I already read this part? Yeah, I'm sorry. Let's see. They could also get clemency from Gavin Newsom, but that doesn't look likely because that would have been very much based on a positive outcome of these parole hearings, and being that it was not that positive, or at least positive enough, I don't think Gavin Newsom is going to stick his neck out, especially when he is trying to look as clean as possible while he's arguing with Trump back and forth and blah, 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 blah. So, we'll see how this goes with the Menendez brothers, if anything comes of it. If there's any more happenings or updates, we'll definitely be back. But we are actually going to Villanova University again for our last story. So we're going to close out there. But let's go ahead and take our last break, and we will call it a day after this one. I think I'm getting to the point where I need to stop using USA Today. It winds up a lot of times like they do have useful information, but like the way their site is set up, it's got so many like ads and things on it. It just bogs down the site, and it doesn't matter which laptop I use, it just won't work. So that can be very annoying. So I'm sorry about that. All right. From ABC6 Action News, Villanova University receives another false active shooter. Radnor Township Police tell Action News that there was another false active shooter call made to Villanova University. Villanova University told students and staff to shelter in place around 11 a.m. Sunday after receiving reports of an active shooter. The call came out of Austin Hall, a student residence hall. Shortly after investigating, police cleared the scene and determined the report to be false. This is the second false active shooter call to Villanova this week. So I don't know if this is a copycat. We don't know if this is the same person. I'm very curious if they're going to get to the bottom of this, who it is, why, like what's the motivation here. But yeah, definitely 2 times in a week cycle. That is odd. That is surprising to happen. Hopefully this isn't some kind of thing that's going to escalate and get worse, or keep happening, because that's definitely, especially in these times, it's very scary. It's very unsettling, unnerving to be worried that like any given moment on your campus, someone can start shooting him and you could die or whatever, you know what I mean? I mean, granted, that's kind of the American way at this point. It's kind of pretty much embedded. But I feel like it's definitely a heightened feeling when you're actually getting calls of this and you're wondering, when is the fucking shoe gonna drop or whatever, if you will, you know what I mean? Anyway, but yeah, that's really all I have for today. That'll be the episode for this fine Sunday. I don't have any shilling to do, so, we're just going to call it here. So thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend, and hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.